Honorable Chairman of this session, respected professors, my students and colleagues. The topic of my paper is Said Nursi's approach towards the Western civilization. The Industrial Revolution, which started in the middle of 18th century, under the influence of the Western culture and civilization, had spread like the wildfire throughout the world and attracted the people of all religions and cultures. The scholars have been forced to express their views on the Western civilization. The Muslim scholars had different opinions. We broadly can divide them in three major groups. Group number one is I am shorting my paper. The group number one is who has totally accepted the Western civilization. And the group number second is those people who totally rejected the Western civilization. And the third group is who had, the third group took a middle way. They were not ready, applaud or criticize it without genuine reason, because they admitted Western development but were not influenced by its progress and seemingly glamorous, sparkling, bright lives and appealing materialistic. What is more, they were not afraid of having the peaceful relation with them at all. Notably, Said Nursi urges the people to develop the cordial relation with them because the relationship may be helpful in spreading the message of God. He led them towards the establishment of the bond of love and solidarity through the positive and reformative thinking, which was the characteristic by the convergence and understanding. He writes, quote, "We must not look at foreigners with the hostility, but perhaps we need to look at them as friends and allies, as they become a way to our happiness and to raise the word of God in this age. But these relations between the two civilizations should be on the basis of cooperation, mutual understanding, so as, in spite of being from the different origins, varying cultures and religions, we can live in an environment of peace and harmony." Besides urging the people to develop the relations with them, he prevents them from blind imitation, which often leads to the ridicule. He writes in his book, Al-Maktubat, "The awake nations in Asia have the courage to nationalism and followed the Europe in all their deeds, and to an extent that they sacrifices much of their sacred values, while in fact the uniform which suits by person is the only one which is suitable for his nature. And even if the cloth is same, but there would be differences in style, as a woman cannot dress the policeman dress, and for a cleric it is not suitable to wear the dress of an adulteress. Thus, from the perspective of Risale-i Nur, Europe can be followed in the field of science and technology, which are the significant means of progress and development. But it cannot be followed in dressing and ways of life. If we will follow them blindly, it will cause the sacrifice of ritual, prestiges, and Islamic tradition. That is why Nursi expressed the differences between the two civilizations through the example, as well as adverse and negative results of the blind imitations. As I mentioned above, that he praises their efforts in the field of science and technologies, but at the same time, he criticizes the modern civilization and drew people's attention towards their materialistic philosophy and their weakness, which they falsely consider as their strength. In support of my opinion, I present here a quotation from his book in which he addressed the Western people and wrote, "I know, O people of Europe, you took in your right hand the philosophy which is sick and misleading, and in your left hand there is a harmful and stupid civilization. Even after it, you claim that human happiness and prosperity lies with both civilization and philosophy. Can anyone who has something in his mind and heart and whose spirit is suffering the immense problem feel that he is at the climax of welfare and prosperity?" He drew the attention of the Muslims to the weakness of their thoughts and civilization, which caused mental imbalance and which led them to the frustration and also destroyed their aspiration, where their expectations shattered to the extent that changed their taste and nature. Now they have become like a man who feels a bitter and acrid things sweet. There was no reason behind it other than their blind sagacity, which impaired their thought as they forgot their creature and called the nature, leaving the real God aside, which in fact neither had the power nor the knowledge. Moreover, they sought help from deaf and blind reasons. Thus, their dingy sagacity was the main cause of turning the day of human being into the fast, bright night, which taking the gallants of dazzling Western civilization and its manifestation, we must stand a while to review their conduct and behavior. They are as follows. Learning upon the fancy and the lust. We find most of them without moral values. The main causes of this is its foundation, which laid on the competition and race, not on virtue. Beside on obvious space for the envy, dominance and eagerness, moreover, fancy and lust, which are counted among the main cheaper and despairing things prevailing in any developed and advanced Western civilization. There, the human system must be need to an Asian Islamic civilization which cope with all the civilization around the world. Here are what he wrote. Yes, the city of Europe was not founded on virtue and on the guidance. Instead, it is based on the lust, fancy, envy, and arbitration. What is more, its disadvantage and evilness had been more than its advantage and virtues. As a result, it seems as a tree caught decayed due to the warmth of revolutionary and terroristic organization. It is strong evidence as well as an indication to its collapse and a crucial cause to its severe need of an Asian Islamic civilization which will dominate soon. Not adhering to the religion. The most important point that alludes to their foolishness is the gap between the divine religion and that of the civilization. There is no reason behind this distance other than the atheism and apostasy, which prevailed to the degree that opened the several doors of extravagances, greed, as well as injustice, so that their needs and demands to be met. In same way, they have acquired habit of approaching to the taboo and forbidden things. One can add to its pessimism and despair, which are most obvious side effects of this civilization. Particularly due to the assuming the death as the execution, they craved a lot of torments for themselves in this maiden life. So, as per Imam Nursi's view, the Western civilization had pushed humanity into the valley of the oppressive ideas that disrupted their thinking to a degree that became a means to spread hundreds of diseases and epidemics. Just few lines, 2 minutes. Negative nationalism. The third factor which played the dominance in pushing them into the swamp of desire, nervousness and nakedness emerges in the form of the nationalism. Because the negative nationalism has a negative impact which promotes frequent invoice and hypocrisy towards the other nation. It is not new. The human being has been the same back in the days of even in the Umayyad period. And he has quoted a paragraph. Then I can Side effect of the Western civilization. Just 1 minute. Yeah? While Imam Nursi admits that the miracles accomplished by this civilization in the field of technology are divine and also appreciable, but its side effect is not less than the benefits. According to him, the most appropriate evidence of this claim is the current system of civilization that plays a major role in making the people more destitute than ever before. In Bedouin era, there were not a considerable amount of obstacle in front of the human being as today. So, due to the constantly increasing requirements as well as eruption of desire, the human being becoming indigent at the time he has need of 20 instead of 4, because their civilization can meet the need of only 2 people out of every 20. Okay, Shukran.